78 Sports TV here. Salute to the mighty ldbc. Y'all smash the like button and hit the subscribe. Turn on your notification bell so be notified when I drop a new video. And if you're digging the video, please share this joint. All right. Turki Alalshikh being sued by Frank Warren. Ain't that about something? Well. Turki has already poached Conor Ben from Eddie Hearn. And now Frank Warren is upset and he's suing TKO and Turki for $1 billion. A billion. Because now we don't know all the details because Frank Warren is hush hush about it, but Frank Warren is basically upset because, in layman's terms, fighters no longer, Turki no longer needs them. See, Turki got into the boxing game. He was a guy who came in with a whole bunch of money, right? If we take this to the streets in layman's terms for everybody to understand, let's say Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn, um, they were the connects, right? They were connects, right? And these guys they would sell they had all the product and they would sell their fights or sell their products to these huge networks, right? Like HBO, Showtime, Sky Sports, The Zone, whatever, right? So they would sell their product to these networks that would distribute it throughout the world. All right. Turki has a bunch of money, but he has no product. So what Turki wisely did was come in and he kept secret his true agenda, which is Turki hates promoters. He doesn't like boxing promoters because he's a big boxing fan, and Turki is well aware that boxing promoters are stopping the best fights from happening by pulling all these shenanigans like Oscar De La Hoya is doing with Virgil Ortiz and Jerron Boots Ennis right now, like Eddie Hearn did with Wilder versus Joshua, and so on and so forth. Turki understands this, so he needed to get inside the boxing game. He needed his respect. So what he did was he purchased Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn instead of trying to, let me get in close to these guys. Let me throw so much money in front of them that they never seen this type of money. Let me make them think that they're playing me. Let me make them think I'm a simp, right? Because broad ain't gonna get in the car with you if she know you the pimping. Sometimes you gotta fake it. Sometimes you gotta, look like a sucker. Hi, how are you? Hi, can I take you to dinner? You know what I'm saying? When she think you a sucker like that, her guard get let down. Bap, go the weasel, and that's what Turki has done to Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn. Now Frank and see Eddie is he can't really sue Turki or nothing. Eddie's humiliated. His fighter kind of been his pride, and joy. After Eddie protected Conor Ben with his steroids allegations or banned substance allegations, I should say, and all this stuff, and Conor Ben was poached by Turki. Turki admires the way Dana White runs the UFC. For the most part in the UFC, the best fights happen. The guys don't get paid all the stuff they're supposed to get paid, but the best fights do happen for the most part in the UFC. I think it's only on one hand you can count how many of the best fights in UFC history we didn't never see, like GSP versus Anderson Silva or something like that. Might be a couple more, but other than that, you pretty much got all the best fights you're supposed to have in the UFC. You know what I'm saying? Now, Turki wants that model in the sport of boxing. Dana White has been talking about coming into boxing for a long time. So Turki has teamed up with Dana White, and here comes the takeover. All right, Turki does not like the sanctioning bodies. He thinks that those are corrupt in boxing, right? Which is why he don't like those WBC and other belts being shown on his shows. He purchased the Ring magazine from Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy, so he can do what he want to do with it, right? And now they got Zuffa, and they're going to slowly start to removing these sanctioning bodies from relevancy in the sport of boxing. And he's going to remove these promoters from relevancy in the sport of boxing. So now we don't know yet if that's a good thing or a bad thing. We don't know yet. We can only speculate. Turki has already shown you that he can be a wolf in sheep's clothing, right? He's a shrewd businessman. Now, I was hip to this a long time. I got privy to certain information a few years back when Turkey first came in the game. Um, a wise brother told me, he said, man, Turkey hate promoters. He said Turkey hates these promoters. I ain't gonna say too much about what the conversation was, but I got put up on game right away that Turkey was gonna do what he had to do to get into position of power, and now he's in that position of power. Both Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn have kissed the ring, have bowed down and kissed the ring. They have kissed my Converse in front of the world. You understand? In front of the world. Frank Warren, who older than Eddie, he an OG, so Frank ain't he not finna go down without a fight. You know what I'm saying? Frank, he want his corners back. You know what I'm talking about? Now Eddie, he gonna get in where he can fit in. Eddie ain't finna be embarrassed like this. So, if Eddie working on some type of betrayal, he gonna have to play the long game because Eddie not. Frank just give you the impression of a gangster. You know, so Eddie ain't like Eddie is a silver spoon kid. You know what I mean? His daddy might be, Barry Hearn might want some smoke, but Eddie, he ain't gonna do nothing. Eddie Hearn famously said he would clean Turkey's shoes if Turkey wanted him to. Man, you can't make this up. Can't make, but I like it though. I like seeing the devil on his knees. You know what I'm saying? Keeping the devil way down in the hole. I like it. I like it a lot. Seeing Eddie Hearn in this position, but there's more to come. You know, many promoters are going to be out of business. Oscar peeped it right away. After Oscar sold Turkey the Ring magazine, and Oscar saw that Turkey was trying to actually make the best fights, and he wasn't letting y'all finesse him the way y'all finessed HBO for years, the way y'all finessed ESPN for years, the way y'all finessed Showtime for years, right? The way y'all was finessing the zone before he arrived. Turkey is like, nah, we're not gonna stall these fights out for 3 and 4 fights. No. Maybe you could have one fight in between the major fight, but we ain't gonna keep stalling these fights out because the fights never happen. And what these promoters wisely do is this is how they play the promoters. Excuse me. This is how they play the networks and the money man. They say, okay, for instance, Wilder Joshua. Let's use that for example. They say, okay, Eddie Hearn went to the zone and told them, hey, you know, I got Anthony Joshua. He's the biggest star in the heavyweight division, and the world wants to see Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder, right? That's going to be a blockbuster fight. Might even be a trilogy. Do you know how much money that's just those 3 fights alone are going to make? We're talking about $1 billion here. Not to even mention all the other fights I have lined up here. I got Canelo. I got this. I got that. I mean, he sold them a really good story. And Skipper from the zone being a square, he like, hey man, hey, all right there. You sound like you know what you're doing, boy. Gave Eddie Hearn $1 billion. Eddie Hearn never delivered Wilder versus Joshua. He gave AJ a small cut, a lifetime contract, and a small cut of that money, right? But he never delivered the Wilder Joshua fight. Instead, Eddie Hearn tricked the public into blaming Deontay Wilder for the fight not happening. Very, very cleverly. Okay. Now they did have a meeting to bring Deontay Wilder over to the zone, but the problem in that meeting, which the zone later apologized to Deontay Wilder for, was that they were not prepared for Deontay Wilder to be a shrewd businessman. When they thought Deontay Wilder was going to hear the term 100 million and just sign, but Wilder said, "Okay, sounds good. All right, so how much is this person getting? If I agree to fight this person, what's the split? Am I just getting this for 3 fights, or how much is he getting? I need to know that. Oh, we don't know. We can't. We're not prepared to answer those questions. Huh? Why? Why? Because if I sign, if I'm hypothetically, if I agree to take 25 million, right, and this guy's then cut a deal where he's gonna make 100, you know what I'm saying? Then no, something ain't right here, right? So basically, I'm editing a lot of that story, but you get what I'm saying. The gist of it, the zone came out and apologized to Deontay Wilder because they did not have um, the information to give him. They were unprofessional. They just had a number, and they didn't explain to him what happens if AJ loses, to which he ended up losing. AJ ended up losing to Andy Ruiz, and then Wilder would have been stuck over there and they probably would have tried to finesse him out of his contract. So, long story short, um, Eddie Hearn and the old guard used to finesse networks like that. You know, they would go and to Showtime. Hey, Showtime say, "Hey, look, man, I got $70 million budget for you guys for the next 2 years. So y'all got to split. You know, say this 35 million a year, right? $35 million a year. That's all we can afford to give y'all. Now that's good money if you putting on good boxing matches over the course of 2 years, and you need to try to make Showtime more than their money back. They need to see a profit so that it's worth it for them to continue to do it. But instead, what they do, Floyd Mayweather, oh, I want to fight. I'm give me, hey man, I want I want 50 million guaranteed. Okay, that's $50 million out of that budget gone already just to Floyd. Okay, and then you're gonna make something back, but you get what I'm saying here. All right. So then other guys like, oh, they getting played. Well, I'm gonna give you $1 million guaranteed, and then on the back end of the pay per view sale, then you can make up to $10 million. So other fighters that get on the PBC and other networks, excuse me, other promotional companies, they getting played. You know what I'm saying? Because somebody else is hogging up all of the budget, and that happens with HBO. That happens with Showtime. That happens with ESPN. That's what happens, man. You know what I'm saying? So Turkey saw all of that. He said, "No, y'all ain't finna get me like that." So y'all think y'all slick. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna befriend you, and I'm gonna finesse you. So I like what Turkey has done so far with the sport of boxing. However, I don't trust Turkey. I don't trust him. I don't trust nobody in the sport of boxing like that. Anytime anybody that's making money, you can't really trust them on the everybody's not always on the up and up 100%. You know what I'm saying? You can't trust nobody. Just like you can't trust nobody on the streets. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? You gotta trust people to a degree, and that's it. But Turkey Al-Sheikh, all I know is he don't like promoters. He don't like the sanctioning bodies. He think they hurting the sport, and he wants to see the best fight the best by any means necessary. So the fact that means he got to lie to you to get you in the ring with somebody. If he got to finesse you to get you in the ring to see what he want to see, his bottom line is the best fight the best. He gonna pay you. That's one thing Turkey gonna do. He gonna pay you, right? But you won't have to fight. You know what I'm saying? This ain't nothing. That's why if you look around the sport of boxing, certain people are dealing with Turkey, and some people not. You got look every promotion company is dealing with. Listen, you got PBC is dealing with Turkey Al-Sheikh. You just seen that on his cards. He the only thing moving and shaking right now. You know, you just seen PBC fighters, Gary Anton Russell and all them fighting on uh, uh, Turkey's card. Right? You see top rank fighters fighting on Turkey's card. You see Golden Boy fighters, despite all of this mess Oscar talking. You see Golden Boy fighters fighting on Turkey's card. Matchroom, right? Queensberry, all fighters are coming to Turkey because Turkey got the bag. All you need in order to be on the Turkey train is to have testicular fortitude. You got to have cojones, okay? You got to be willing to put yourself in harm's way, get a bag, and you a boxer, you a fighter. You see young Devin Haney, don't nobody want to fight him at 147. Nobody. All these cowards, they mention his name, try to confuse the public, but nobody want to fight him. So now Devin might be going to 154 to fight Xander. That's crazy. That man just got to 147. You see what I'm saying? He might be going up to fight Xander, bro, which is nuts. Xander's huge. But Devin Haney has testicular fortitude. Devin Haney has no problem in fighting Deron Boots Ennis. He agreed to fight Boots. Virgil Ortiz, all these guys. And these guys are way bigger than Devin Haney. But he don't care because he's a fighter. He's a warrior. You understand? He already got laughed at and people humiliated him after he got cheated by Ryan Garcia. So what's the point? What's the point of ducking and dodging and playing all them games for? He already know how y'all gonna react anyway. You ain't gonna give him credit for nothing. So now, you also look at Shakur Stevenson. He's over there. He just put on a master class against Teofimo Lopez, right? Now, who are we missing? Canelo's over there with Turkey. Terrence Crawford was over there with Turkey. Who are we missing? Somebody missing. There's some. There's a superstar that's missing from Turkey. I can't think of who it is. It's somebody. Y'all tell me in the chat who's missing. What superstar in boxing decided not to go over there with Turkey because they don't want no smoke and they don't want to. It don't matter. They supposed to be about all this money, but Turkey even gave them a blank check and they still don't want to go over there and fight. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what superstar are we talking about here? This active fighter. I ain't talking about Floyd. Because Floyd just now coming back to fight Pacquiao. So y'all let me know in the chat. I forgot the dude's name. You know what I'm saying? Forgot his name. But anyway, that's my thoughts and my opinions on the matter. 78 Sports TV. Salute to the mighty ldbc. Y'all let me know what y'all think about Turkey Alalshikh, Finessing, Frank Warren, and Eddie Hearn. Make sure y'all check me out on Patreon, man. Sign up to the Patreon today. That's patreon.com/78 Sports TV. Patreon.com/78 Sports TV. Come on over, get some of that good game. Sign up to the Tales of a Hustler tier for education, financial literacy, manhood training. You know what I mean? Relationship advice. We talk about everything over there as men, as brothers. You know what I'm saying? And if you're into them bulldogs, the American Pit Bull Terrier, then you need to sign up to my other Patreon. That's patreon.com/game dog talk. To be exact, we got an all-star panel, legends of the game, talking about the American Pit Bull Terrier and their experiences with the dog. We up out of here though, y'all. And if you want to support the channel, hit me up on Cash App. Cash App $78 Sports. Not 78 Sports TV. $78 Sports. We up out of here, deuces.